Hello everyone, my name is Betania Fernandez from Facultad de Lenguas Vivas, and in collaboration with Luis Fernandez, former professor at Universidad Nacional del Este, and Professor Valentina Canese from ISL, we carried out this research called Characteristics of the Linguistic Landscape of Downtown Ciudad del Este, an overview of a multilingual trade. Now, why Ciudad del Este? Ciudad del Este is a city that has developed tremendously due to commerce. It is known for being home of different immigrant communities, which are mainly Arabs, Asians, and Brazilians. And it is a border city with Brazil and Argentina. Now, what is linguistic landscape? It is like the written text in the signage of a specific location. It can include commercial signs, billboards, signs on national municipal institutions, signs on buildings, and signs on street signs, and other types of signage. It is usually classified between top-down signs and bottom-up signs. Top-down signs, meaning signs produced by the government, and bottom-up signs, which are signs produced by private entities and businesses. Now, the general question is, what are the outstanding characteristics of the linguistic landscape of downtown Ciudad del Este? And the specific questions are, what are these languages found? What is their frequency? And to see if there is a relation between the commercial activity and the language choice. Now, the methodology is a mixed method approach using ethnographic approaches like observation of the site, photographic documentation, and also open-ended interviews. Three streets were selected for this purpose, which are the main streets of access to and out of the city, and a total of 740 signs were analyzed. Now, the results indicate that 22 languages were found, and the most prominent were Spanish, English, and Portuguese. This shows like an uneven distribution of the languages, and in the different analysis carried out, meaning by number of languages and being monolingual, bilingual, or multilingual signs, and by type of text in the main text, which is the store's name, and the secondary text, which is any other information or text provided. These three languages were the most dominant ones. Only when we consider brands, we see that this landscape changes, being English also the dominant language with 26%, followed by Japanese with 13%, and Italian with 9%. Here we can see that many languages found in the linguistic landscape were only made visible through the brands. So brands are a major source of multilingualism in the linguistic landscape, despite not representing like a linguistic immigrant community. Now, regarding the leading languages, Spanish is the official language and it has an informative value. English is not an official nor an immigrant language, since there isn't an English speaking immigrant community. But it is known that English has a privileged position, not only in this linguistic landscape, but in many other linguistic landscape studies carried out in other locations. It is usually related to the value of technology, modernity, sophistication. And Portuguese has both symbolic and informative values, since the Brazilians represent around 80% of the customers that go to Ciudad del Este to buy. Now, concerning the relation between the languages and the commercial activities, we saw some variations between the stores that offer a service and the stores that sell a product. The stores that offer services are use a narrower spectrum of languages, mostly Spanish, whereas the stores that sell products besides Spanish use a wider spectrum of languages. The motivation behind this could be that the product related stores target mainly the foreign customers, and the service related stores target mainly the local customers. So, in conclusion, there is a wide spectrum of languages that are unevenly distributed, being Spanish, English, and Portuguese the dominant ones. In Spanish with a informative value, English having a symbolic value, in Portuguese having both symbolic and an informative value. We also see how brands are a major source of linguistic diversity, and a strong commercially driven character of the linguistic landscape reflected through the both functions of language, which are informative and symbolic. Now, to sum up, we found how there are linguistic factors that influence the market dynamic in Ciudad del Este, meaning the symbolic value of the foreign languages, which is mostly English, and also the symbolic and informative values of the customer's native language, which is Portuguese, and also the condition of being a border city. These factors compelled the immigrant and the local traders to adapt themselves in order to meet the linguistic needs or demands of the market, which resulted in a unique linguistic landscape and with a strong commercial identity where the for whom is more important than the by whom. This is why, despite being home of different commercial activities and despite having a wide spectrum of languages, they are not quite visible or evenly represented in the linguistic landscape. Thanks for your attention.